Good day everyone, I'm Shaun Duka from 9 Cadmium-A, and today we're gonna learn about computer specification and compatibility. Computer specification is a list of key components that make up the computer. An example of computer specification is a processor. When buying a PC, you start by deciding what you want your PC to do. This tells the specification you need. When reviewing computer specification, the most important component to take care are the processor, size of RAM, and the size of the hard drive, as these are the central to the overall capability of the system. If it is planned to be used for specialized program for students with special needs, it is advisable to purchase a suitable specification to meet the system requirement for this program. Here are the different specifications of computer parts. The CPU or processor. The processor is the central processing unit of a computer. Its specification includes its clock speed in gigahertz, the number of core it has, and its cache size. There are two major manufacturers of computer processor. It is Intel and AMD. In all cases, a computer's CPU must be compatible with the motherboard, memory, and power supply, and any graphics card. Intel Core i9 13900K is an example of a processor made by Intel and can be used for rendering. RAM, or Random Access Memory, is the hardware in a computing device where the operating system, application programs, and data in current use are kept so they can be quickly reached by the device's processor. It is the main memory in a computer, and it is much faster to read from and write to than other kinds of storage, such as a hard disk drive, solid-state drive, or optical drive. RAM specification includes its capacity, which is measured in gigabytes, and its clock speed, which is measured in megahertz. Higher, higher capacity and clock speed allows for better performance. Motherboard. This is the main circuit board of the computer, and it connects all the other components together. Motherboard specification include the type of socket for the processor, number of RAM slots, expansion slots for additional components, and the chipset. This determine how compatible the motherboard is with other computer components and how much expandability it allows. A computer hard disk drive is a non-volatile data storage device. Non-volatile refers to storage devices that maintain stored data when turned off. Its specification includes its capacity in gigabyte or terabyte and its read and write speed in megabyte per second or gigabyte per second. Graphics card. The graphics card specification includes its clock speed in gigahertz, the number of processing cores, and its memory in gigabyte. Higher clock speed and more memory allows for better graphic performance. These are the speed units used in different parts of a computer. In CPU, the clock speed measures the number of cycles the CPU executes per second, which is measured in gigahertz. In hard disk drive, RPM is used to help determine the access time on computer hard drives. In RAM, RAM speed is measured in megahertz. And for the GPU, megahertz or gigahertz is used. Capacity units. In CPU, the capacity of CPU is measured in gigabyte. In hard disk drive, the amount of storage on a hard disk is measured in gigabyte and terabyte. And for RAM, its capacity is measured in gigabyte. Lastly, for the GPU, its capacity is measured in gigabyte. If you want an office computer, here are the specifications needed to build one. For the processor, you need Intel Core i5, 6th generation or newer, or equivalent. For the operating system, Microsoft Windows 10, Professional x64. For the memory, 16 GB of RAM. For the storage, you need 500 GB of internal storage drive. And for monitor or display, you need 14-inch LCD monitor, resolution of 1600 x 900 or better. This one is for a gaming computer. For the processor, you need Intel Core i7 9700K or better. For the operating system, you need Microsoft Windows 10. For the memory, you need 16 GB of RAM. For the storage, you need at least 500 GB storage. For the monitor or display, you need Dell Alienware AW3423DW. For the graphics card, you need NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2070 Super. Lastly, this one is for a rendering computer. For the CPU, you need Intel i9 13900K. For the motherboard, you need Z390 Aorus Pro. For the memory, you need 32 GB DDR4 3200 quad channel RAM. For the storage, you need Samsung 970 EVO 1TB SSD and 2x HGST 4TB of HDD. For the monitor or display, you need Dell UltraSharp 40-inch curved monitor. And for the graphics card, you need RTX 3060 Ti 4864 CUDA cores and 8 GB of VRAM. You can get a decent gaming PC for 32,000 pesos. This is the minimum to play all modern games reasonably well on medium settings. If you have right around 54,000 pesos to spend on a new gaming PC build, you have enough to build a solid system. You can build a gaming computer that can max out anything on a 1080 pixel monitor easily. But if you want a rendering computer, you're gonna have to spend a lot more than that. If you want a high performance rendering build, you can get one for a little below 100,000 pesos. And the professional rendering build can cost up to 159,000 pesos. Compatibility of a computer part is an important consideration when building or upgrading a computer. The way you check compatibility between a CPU and a motherboard is to make sure that they both support the same socket. It's the same for any motherboard as well. If you have a specific motherboard that you like, You can simply just go to the CPU support section that's offered by pretty much every motherboard manufacturer and see exactly what CPUs that motherboard support. No guesswork is needed. The, compali- the compatibility between RAM, CPU, and motherboard can sometimes be overlooked, and that can be a big mistake. It's not as simple as getting a compatible CPU and the motherboard, then throwing as much RAM as you want in there. Certain CPUs and motherboards have limits as to how much RAM and what kind of RAM you can use with them. You can find the supported RAM specification on the spec sheets of any motherboard and CPU you pick, so it's not that hard to figure that out. Overall, it's important to do your research and make sure that all the parts you select are compatible with each other before making a purchase. In general, the higher specification of a computer part, the better its performance will be. However, it's important to ensure that all the components are compatible with each other and that the system is balanced for optimal performance. In conclusion, understanding computer parts specification is essential, especially when building or upgrading a computer. Each component's specification determines its performance and compatibility with other parts, so it's important to consider these factors when selecting components. That is all for this video guys, and thank you for watching. Credits to SlideSgo for making this template. Thank you and goodbye.